everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I'm going to be going over my TBR for the month of November. This last month, October, was really kind of hectic for me because there was two readathons going on. I did the Monster Mash readathon and then Novellathon, which I had a great time doing, but I had a bunch of books. I was trying to get a full blackout on both those bingos. So it was a lot. And then I ended up getting a lot more arcs than I thought I was going to. I forgot some of the arcs that I applied for, and so a bunch of them happened at the end of the month, and they weren't really all that great. So I was kind of getting in a reading slump feeling. So I'm really hopeful that the books that I have planned for November are going to get me out of that reading slump from the end of the month, because I'm excited for some of these. So let's go ahead and dive right into my November TBR. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off with our buddy read, and then some of the arcs. So if you're new to my channel or you haven't seen one of my videos before, I actually do a buddy read each month with Bestie Book Reviews and Bookmark by Jen. And we have a great time. We've been trying to now we're trying to pick books that not all of us, none of us have read basically, which can be kind of hard with 4 people. So that's kind of hard to come to a decision, but we all want to kind of go in blind, not knowing what we're going to read. And we had been reading quite a few dark romances and stuff like that recently. So we thought it'd be kind of fun to do more of a sweet kind of romance. And so I thought, let's do A Small Town. It's going to be actually on my channel. I'm sorry, I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I probably should have written that down, but I will be posting, the graphics on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please check it out. It should be in my link. I have it linked down below, but it's also, I think, on my main page. So I do a lot more on my Instagram with graphics and things like that. But I will also post it on the YouTube channel. But for our buddy read, we are going to read Here With Me by Brooke Montgomery. So I actually was supposed to read this in October, but I never could get around to it because I had so much stuff to read and I was behind on things. But I thought this would be perfect because it ended up being something that none of us had read, actually. It was kind of funny. We were going back and forth forever trying to find something that we could all agree on that none of us have read. So I'm super excited because Here With Me, it actually has a novella before it. I think it's Come With Me. I read that. And it was good, but I don't think you have to read that to read this first book. So definitely know that. If you haven't read it yet, please, I hope you guys are going to join us for this buddy read. But this is actually kind of like this ranch, almost like resort to where people come and stay and everything. And it was very cute in that novella. It had a map and it showed all the different little locations at this ranch, and it was very cute intro. But in this, it's going to be I think ex-boyfriend's dad. So, something about me, I love the boyfriend's dad trope. I don't know why. Ever since Birthday Girl and then Praise, and I'll just read, I try to find things with that trope because I don't know why, but I just love it. So it's age gap, obviously, ex-boyfriend's dad, and I think she's actually really close with her boyfriend. So it's not a bad relationship, but I could be wrong on that. But it's on this ranch and he works at the ranch. So there's kind of a forced proximity thing. So I am super excited to read this. So I hope you guys will join us. I think it's going to be around the 3rd weekend, but don't quote me on that. Let me get the date and I will be posting graphics soon, but hope you guys join us for that. Okay, so now I want to go into my arcs. I honestly think I only have a couple arcs for November, which I may be completely wrong. More may come through that I forgot I requested, just like in October. But hopefully I only have a couple because honestly it'll give me a little bit more breathing room because I had way more arcs than I'm used to in October, and it kind of stressed me out a little bit to hit those deadlines. So I think I only have a couple. So the one that I'm very excited for is, and hopefully it'll get me out of my reading slump that I've been in the last week kind of, is Jagger Cole's new release, which is Reckless Hearts. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes, Reckless Hearts. And this is, I don't know if this is the 5th or 6th book in that series. I have just fallen in love with Jagger Cole's Mafia series. They're kind of, I don't know, out there, but dominant men, fun Mafia reads. They're always action-packed. I've been super into it ever since Jen from the Book Refuge recommended it during the Mafia Readathon. I basically dived into that series, and I've been lucky to get like the last, I think, 4, including this one, arcs. So I'm super appreciative. I'm really enjoying this series. So that one I think comes out November 2nd. So I'm probably going to have to start it maybe October 31st or something, just so I can get it in on the 1st. And I'm very excited for it. I didn't really like the last one as much. Of course, I gave it a higher rating than I probably would have because it was an arc. But I was kind of disappointed in Castle's romance. If you watch my videos, you've seen that. But this one I'm really excited for because it's Damos's romance, and he kind of has been like in Europe. He's one of the Greek mafia brothers, and he is like showed up in the last book, and he seems super scary, like intimidating, dominant, and I was getting good vibes off this guy. So I'm very excited for this one. I don't really know anything about it, so I just know it's his, and I'm sold. The other one that I have is Brightest Spark by Victoria Loom. Never read this author. I can't even remember what this is about. This is one of those that I requested and I kind of forgot about. I think this comes out November 8th, so I will be reading that one. And then this isn't really like fully like an arc. This is something that a viewer actually emailed me and requested that I read their first book. He's a screenwriter, and he's trying to write books now, and so he sent me his book, so I'm happily going to read that. And thank you so much. I appreciate anytime an author reaches out to me or requests that I read one of their books. I will try to get to it as fast as I can. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get to this month. It just depends on what happens with arcs and my reading schedule. But this is Grand Finale. This is by Christopher Baldi, I think. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. But he was nice enough to reach out to me and actually sent me this copy. I don't really know a lot about it, but I believe it's like a mafia, darker, like kind of romance. So I'm definitely interested, and I'm going to be reading that one. So that's kind of all I have for like my arcs, my buddy read. So now we're going to kind of get into things that I've been wanting to read. So I don't know if you've watched my channel and you've noticed that I'm trying to read Rena Kent's Backlist. I really wanted to read her newer series, and it's like the second generation. So I wanted to go all the way back and read her books in her reading order list on her site. So I have basically gone back to, I believe it's the Royal Elites. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the series, but that was like Deviant King and all that. It's like it's a bully high school kind of romance series. I'm absolutely loving it. So now I want to finish out that series this month. So the first one I'm going to be reading is Vicious Prince. And I'm really excited for this one because this is going to be Ronan's romance. And he has kind of been like the party boy, he's always so sunshiny and funny. But I feel like there's so much more under the surface that he's like hiding. And I think he was supposed to be kind of almost having an arranged marriage. And then of course it's going to be with Teal. And she's like very emo and doesn't like him. But you could kind of tell she's like, I feel like she was kind of obsessed with him when I was reading the other books because she was like very zeroed in on him, but wouldn't acknowledge anybody else. She's very emo and socially awkward. So I'm really excited for that one. And then we have Ruthless Empire, and this is between Cole and Silver. And I have been waiting for this because Silver is like the mean girl, the bitch from the first 3 books. She totally bullied our heroine, but I always love it when an author takes a mean girl and like you find out there's so much more under the surface, so much more trauma or things going on that's making them act like that. And they kind of like, I love like when they get reformed. Or I mean, because like one of my favorites is Elena in Jay Wolf series. Like she was such a fucking bitch in the high school romances, and then she gets her book in the college series, and I loved it. Like, so I love that, and so I'm hoping that's what we're gonna get with Silver here, because, and I think Cole is her stepbrother too, so it's gonna be a stepbrother, stepsister, which I love those. So I'm really excited for that one. And then to finish it out for that series, we have Royal Elite Epilogue. So I believe it's just the epilogue of all the couples. So I'm excited to read those. I'll be vlogging each of those. So I don't know if I'll do separate vlogs for each book. It just depends, because I do tend to ramble on my vlogs. Okay, so these are some of the books that I just really want to read and get to. I want to read Grimstone by Sophie Lark. This is her newest release. It's more of like a gothic, kind of spooky vibes. I haven't heard too many great things about it, and so I don't know if it's going to hit me. Her previous release, Minx, I didn't like as much as I love her Mafia series, and I like that she's trying new things. And taking risks and just, trying different stuff. She's not staying in one lane. So I appreciate that, but it might not hit as good as her Mafia series for me. So I'm not sure how I'm going to like it. We'll see. But I definitely will read it, because I'm always going to read Sophie Lark. And then I've heard a lot about this, The Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane. I want to read another hockey romance, and I believe he's kind of like a stalker. So hockey stalker. So I'm interested. So I definitely want to pick that one up, because I keep seeing it everywhere and I need to read it. Okay, so the other one that I have here, I didn't write the correct author's name, so I probably messed this up. But it was Fear Me, Love Me. I don't know if it's Liv Vincent, if that was it, but I know it's I believe it's a Mafia age gap kind of thing. I don't know a lot about it. I think I saw Bestie Book Reviews read it, and so I was interested. So I'm sorry, I didn't really write that down correctly. So the other one that I have had on my TBR multiple times, and I've never gotten to, and I'm determined to read this book before the end of the year. And that is The Words by Ashley Jade, or AJ. I've heard so many good things about this book. It's pretty thick, and it's a rock star romance. I'm not always into rock star, but it's kind of like a second chance. It's a curvy heroine, a Playboy rock star. So I need to stop putting it off and just read it. So I'm making myself read it this month. If I don't hold myself accountable this month, I'm going to freaking be pissed, because I keep putting this book off. Another one that I've had on my list forever is The Ritual by Chantal Tesser. I think she just released Carnage, I believe, and I keep saying so many good things about this series, so I need to read the first one and get in there. I don't know too much about it. I figure it's bully dark romance. I'm not positive. And then, of course, the one that I am so excited to read and is high on my list, probably one of the first books out of the books that I want to read, is Contempt by Sam Mariano. She just randomly posted on Instagram a week or two before she released it that it was coming out, and I couldn't believe it. We've been waiting for this book for a while. It's in the, oh gosh, what's that? The series just went out of my head. I'm sorry. But it's in the same series as Even If It Hurts. And there's a previous book that I read. It's kind of like an intro to this couple that's in this, because it's the parents. So in the previous book, the mom and dad of these two, the hero and heroine, basically fall in love, and they're going to get married. The problem is that their kids, her daughter, is getting bullied by his son. So now that they're going to be married, they're going to be the kids are going to be in a forced proximity, living in the same house situation. So this is finally the kids' romance. I think it's Landon and Parker. I might be completely wrong. I forgot. But this is going to be major bully. He's been bullying her for years. The father has been kind of absent and kind of let his son get away with a lot of things. So in that previous book, I think it's Undertow. Sorry. Undertow was the previous book. He kind of the mother wakes him up and lets him know, you've been letting your son bully my daughter. And so they're hopefully going to be more on top of it, but they're going to be stuck in this situation in this house together. They're going to be stepbrother, stepsister. So like, I can't freaking wait to read this book. So it's probably like my highest priority on this list. Okay, and then I've saw this reverse harem series forever. I just didn't know if I really wanted to go into over the top bully reverse harem. And I kind of kept putting it off. But I kept seeing this on somebody that I follow is reading this. I think it's 3 books on this reverse harem. And so I decided I'm going to give it a shot because she was rating it really well. I think the first book she gave like 5 stars. So I'm going to read Lords of Pain. I believe that's Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue. And I've just seen a lot about this. I just didn't know if I would like it. So I'm going to give the first book a shot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reread The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I read this a few years ago, and it was like my first fake dating romance that I ever read, and I just loved it so much, but I never continued with the series, and I bought the books. So I don't know what I'm doing, why I haven't read this. So I want to reread The Deal so I can kind of get introduced to that group. I really love this. It's hockey player, fake dating. He needs help in like his class, and she needs help getting attention from a guy that she has a crush on. And so they fake date, and obviously they fall for each other. It's one of my favorite fake dating romances I've ever read. So I'm excited to do a reread. It'll be like a comfort reread for me. Okay, sorry. I realized I had the wrong book pulled because I didn't look at the reading order of this off-campus series. So I am going to be rereading The Deal, like I said. And then the next one is The Mistake. And then we have The Score. So I'm really irritated too, if you can't tell. I bought these from different buyers on Mercari. And one of them was like, I think the more independent, like when it was under Elle Kennedy, and then one of them's with Bloom. The other one, so they don't match, and it like infuriates me. So I might have to sell some of these so I can get the full collection of like the Bloom one, so they're all the same size, because that drives me nuts. But anyways, I really need to read this series. I don't know if I'm going to vlog it. I might vlog it, but that might not come out for a long time because I'm just going to go through all of them. But we'll see. Or I might just do a video on the off-campus series and stuff. But I definitely need to read these. They've been on my shelf forever, and I love The Deal. It's one of my favorite fake dating romances. And then I need to get back to Serena Ackroyd's Filthy Feckers series, The 5 Points Mafia. And I haven't gone back to it. I need to get this finished because I'm trying. Her series is just so long and interconnected, and there's a certain reading order. And so sometimes I just kind of check out for a little bit, but I need to get back to it because I want to finish them. And this is The Filthy Feckers, and it's the Filthy Hot. And this is Aidan O'Donnelly Jr.'s story. And I'm very intrigued by it because he's been like having this drug addiction since he got shot, and he was on pain pills and stuff. So they've been really worried about him because he's been very addicted for the last few books that I've read. So be interested to read his story because I definitely do need to continue. And then the other one that I really want to read is Mafia Target by Mia Finelli. I don't know why. I've had this on my Kindle forever and I still haven't read it, even though like I love this series. I love the Mafia Mistress, Mafia Darling. I loved Mafia Madman. I loved them. So I need to read this because it's a male. It's between, Fausto's son and I believe a hitman that's supposed to kill him. And Mia Finelli is coming out with the next one in this series soon. So I need to read it. So I'm going to finish that finally. Some novellas that I might want to get to. I want to read Jessica Cain, who sadly announced that this is her last book because I think like of piracy issues and all of that kind of stuff, which just breaks my heart because I love Jessica Cain. She writes over the top, bonkers, crazy novellas, and I love them. They're like the perfect palate cleanser in between books. And so I'm very sad. This is her last book, and it's My Stalker, My Protector. I'm praying that she'll come back because she's just one of my favorite go-tos. She's fantastic and I love her. So I want to read that. And then Nikki Harris, who I'm absolutely loving her Mafia series. I want to read her novella, which is Kirby 13. It just came out. Don't know too much about it, but I love Nikki Harris and I want to give it a shot. And then I just read my first CM Nacosta book, and it was for the novella readathon, and it was really crazy. It was like a Sleepy Hollow retelling. So I want to give some of her other stuff a try, which you'll see later. But I want to read Run, Run, Rabbit. And I heard them talking about it during the live show because they did like a author hangout with CM Nacosta. So I'm very interested to see. And I got this during like the, Kindle, the free Kindle, whatever. I can't think of the name. I'm so like, ugh, today. Okay, so some of these books are like kind of like what I looked up for audiobooks, because luckily with my job, I'm able to listen to audiobooks while I work. I work in a cubicle, that kind of thing. So I'm able to listen to audiobooks while I work, which is amazing. It helps me get a lot more books read. And so these are like my main books for audiobook. So I want to read Nightfall by Penelope Douglas. We just read their Kill Switch for our buddy read in October, which was amazing. I loved it. Damon is just so everything to me. And so this is going to be Will's romance, which I'm intrigued. I thought I heard it wasn't the best, but then I heard people say they loved it. So I'm very excited to read it. I thought his relationship with Damon was very interesting. And, he's definitely been dealing with some drug addiction and all those kind of issues. So I'm going to read that, listen to that because it's on AnyPlay. And that whole series actually is on AnyPlay, I believe. I don't know about the novella, but you can listen to that whole series. And then, as I said before, I want to read some more CM Nacosta. And Morning Glory Milking Farm, which I've heard so much about and never read, is actually on AnyPlay, so I'm going to listen to that. It should be interesting listen while I'm at work, but I'm excited to finally jump into that one. And I don't think I've ever read Kristen Callahan. I read primarily stuff that's on Kindle Unlimited, and I don't think these books were, but I always hear people talk about them. And I actually found this one on AnyPlay, and that is The Hookup. So it's like a star football, I think it's like right out of college kind of romance. So football player, I love sports romance, so I want to dive into that and see if I like her writing. Then I'm going to read The Lawyer by Marnie Mann. I've heard different things about this series. Some people really love it. Some people said it was bad. But I've never read Marnie Mann, so I want to give it a shot. And this is the first book in that series, so I'm excited to listen to that one. And that was also on AnyPlay, so was The Hookup. And then I want to read Montana Sanctuary. I want to get another small town kind of romance in. And Jen for the Book Refuge, I think, binged this whole series and enjoyed it. And this is also available on AnyPlay. So I'm definitely going to read this one. I think they're former Navy SEALs, if I'm right. And this was on my, these next two were on my TBR from October, but I didn't get to them. I want to read No Tomorrow by Carrie Ann Cole. I know so many people love this book. It was kind of intimidating to me because I heard it's super angsty. But I definitely need to listen to that. That's also on AnyPlay. And then Master of Death and Dawn by Carissa Broadbent. I loved the second book in this series. It was a 6-star read to me. But these are very hard to listen to because you really need to pay attention. There's all these different locations and characters with weird names. And so listening to it at work takes me a while because I really need to focus on it. But I do plan on listening to that. So the next books that I have, I'm going to listen to on Audible. I have An Offer from Magellan by Julia Quinn. I am probably the only person out there that probably hasn't read the Bridgerton series, but I'm slowly trying to get through those and kind of log each book or give a review of each book and just a single video kind of thing. So this is the third book in the series. So interested to get in there and see if I like it. The second one was a lot better than the first one, so I'm hoping it gets better. Okay, so I read Binding 13, and then I'm currently reading Keeping 13. I believe That's All Book Girl, and like, I think A Novel Life and all of them were doing a live show for this. I think it's in November. So for those first 2 books, so I need to continue, and I'm going to listen to Saving 6. Honestly, like these books are so worth the hype so far. And I'm so nervous to read Saving 6 because just getting to know Joey and his character in the first 2 books, he's like breaking my heart. And I mean like sobbing in Keeping 13. So I'm very nervous for his books because he already breaks my heart and I love him so much. So I'm very excited and nervous to get to his book. And then I'm going to read Until Tomorrow Comes by Adelaide Forrest. This is available on Audible. And I actually remembered this character because he's kind of brought up in her other series, the Belandi, I'm probably saying that wrong, Syndicate, and he's kind of brought up as a side character, and he's pretty crazy. I think he's like obsessed with a girl that's like kind of underage, so he wants her for his, and so he's like kind of stalks her till she comes of age, and then that way he can come kind of take her. So I think that's what the story is. So I'm excited because it was actually available on Audible. And then I'm going to read Sweet Thing by J.A. Huss. I had this on my TBR forever, but I never got to it. And now that I saw that it was like on Audible, I was like, I'm just going to listen to it. Easy. There we go. So again, this is a lot of books. I'm probably not going to get to all of these, but I definitely want to try. And hopefully it'll be a better month for me where I can just dive into the books that I want to read and not have to read so many arcs. But thank you so much for watching this. Let me know if you have read any of these books and if you love them or not. Thank you. As always, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.